Hello, everybody, and welcome to what I'm calling the new season of this podcast, the latest Insight podcast with me, Elizabeth Finocchiaro. This is my first time having a guest on the podcast, which I knew would happen at some point, but as always, I don't force things, I don't really overplan things, and then suddenly it was like, it's time. Juliette, it's time. And then it just kind of happened so organically, so naturally. And that's what I love. I love about this work as well that we're going to talk about. I really believe that when we are connecting more to our body and thawing the freeze, different opportunities come up, different like the rhythm and the flow of life kind of becomes easier. Today's topic is thawing the freeze. And I know I got some messages from you guys that were like, that topic is very powerful. This is so relevant. And for me too, I have thawed my freeze, and it's been one of the most, empowering and important processes that I've done. And Juliette also has her own story and her own experience working with this. She actually just came from a session right now. So before we begin, let's drop in to our breath, drop into our body, and then we're going to start this incredible conversation with this incredible woman. So no matter where you are and how you're feeling right now, it's okay. No matter how your body is, no matter how your thoughts are, it's okay. So just seeing if you can bring in that allowance. Maybe you want to close your eyes, you don't have to, but just allowing a little bit of a deeper drop in this moment. Noticing small tensions in the feet, in the legs, in the hips. Seeing if you can run your awareness through your body, your neck, your chest, your back, your belly, down through your hips, your legs, your arms and your hands. And maybe you already notice as you run your awareness through your body, which parts are hard to get access to. There's certain parts in your body that it's very easy to access, and there's other parts that we just don't go there. Just noticing that. Maybe there's a stretch or a movement that wants to happen. Maybe there's a sound that wants to happen. Don't force, don't push anything. But usually when we bring awareness somewhere, there's often an expression. Not always. But if there is, just allowing that to happen. When there's a drop in, when you relax a little bit deeper, there's usually a sigh of relief. Letting that happen, expanding the belly, going up into the heart, relaxing on the exhale. Great. So, as always, interacting with this podcast, with this episode, exactly as you wish. If you're busy doing something and you're just tuning in, that's great. If you are like fully dropped in with us, then that's also amazing. For those who are live, again, feel free to make comments, interact, and just know for those who are listening later, you can always join these podcasts live. So it's every third Tuesday of the month at 12 o'clock Central European time, where you can join for free live. So, for those of you who might be completely new to this podcast, I am a breathworker, body worker, and bringing in Juliette, we actually met in a de-armoring training last year. And this has been such an important part of my development lately is getting more trauma informed and getting more embodied training when it comes to the responses and the trauma responses and just becoming more skilled as a professional, which I think is so important to continue training and to continue being in spaces that expand you and meet people that expand you. So, Juliette has been one of those people in my life that I met last year who not only had a beautiful personal connection with, but a deep professional connection and respect of her approach, what she's doing, how she's putting herself out there on, social media and the way that she's really on a mission to help people. And yeah, so a little bit more about Juliette. She is Copenhagen based bodywork practitioner. It's always funny to like have someone else read your bio, right? She is trained in the Greenberg method and also a trauma-informed de-armoring facilitator. She's experienced burnout, chronic pain, overthinking, social anxiety, and disconnection from her body, and she found profound transformation through body-based work. So it's her mission, and she helps people connect with their direct experience, going beyond long holding patterns in the body, and ultimately gaining trust in their body. So her work is I just love, Juliette, what you've been sharing lately on social media as well about not avoiding the pain. There's wisdom in the pain. I just feel like your work, and I've been able to experience it in some capacity as well. You just create so much room for the things that you would think you would want to push away or not be there. And you're like welcoming it in. And then your clients are getting incredible results through doing that. So, welcome, Juliette. How are you feeling?
Thank you. Wow. I have to take this in, first of all. Uh,
Yeah.
this beautiful presentation. Hello, everybody. I'm doing good. As you mentioned, I just came straight on from a session, so I've been working already for 2 hours, and I'm very excited to have this conversation together. And I'm noticing so much already in myself, in my body moving, and trying not to freeze really at the moment,
Yeah.
right? to, to allow the excitement, to allow the fear, to allow the curiosity, and yeah, to share a little bit more about my perspective, but also discuss with all of you. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. It was interesting because before the call, I could feel this heaviness in my body and I could feel this like fog coming over. And I'm like, that's the freeze. It's like coming to say hello because in one way, I feel like when at least in my career, I've noticed a lot whenever I go leading a topic, whether it's about courage or clarity or freeze or whatever, it tends to knock on my door of being like, hello, you're going to talk about me today. Are you sure you can lead this conversation? And I actually went outside, I put a song on, and I just like danced really softly to a whole song. And I was like, well, that is part of how I unfreezed my body was through soft movement and choosing to be, like you said, curious, engaged instead of like just really letting that heaviness take over. So it's interesting that you were like, I'm gonna try not to freeze because it's in the room, you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, I think it's, if I can say something about this,
Yeah,
the what's always in the room is, we could say, fear in a way. Like fear is what makes us aware of our environment, and what makes us aware of, is this safe for me? It's actually, I love to look at it as a friend that, if I allow myself to feel this, yeah, this fear in myself, in my body, I more can connect to the world. There already there is we have a responsibility there, and often we are taught to be afraid of fear, or afraid of and like this shyness in us, or so it's been definitely part of this process, and our process, I think, to befriend these experiences that are there no matter what.
Yeah,
and relax with it. So yeah, it,
exactly.
it's
Afraid of the fear.
yeah,
That's like compounding, right? Instead of just relating to the fear, we're afraid of the fear, and then we're shamed that we're afraid of the fear, and then we're upset, and then we're shutting down because we're afraid of it.
we love to make things complicated as human beings. I
We
think we
love
all
that.
can agree. Yeah. Yeah.
So, in my world, for those of you who are in my membership, I have a monthly masterclass, and all the topics that I have, I usually bring in the definition because I love when the mind can kind of relax to be like, okay, well, what does it actually mean? Because I love to be really grounded when we're talking about different topics, and I want you to actually have a cognitive understanding. Because you might know what freeze is, you might know what thawing means, but I'm going to read the definition for you guys so we can just apply that definition to the body because sometimes it just brings a deeper like that's that's what it means. Like that is actually what we're putting towards that word. So to freeze, this is not a trauma definition. This is actually just like a normal definition, is to harden into a solid through the loss of heat or to cause a sudden cessation, I guess it's like a stop of movement, growth, or change. Yeah, to harden into a solid through the loss of heat or to cause sudden cessation. Sorry, I didn't know that word before I read that. I'm like, really? Of movement, growth, or change. Yeah, putting that into perspective a little bit. And then what does thawing mean? It's the process of warming a frozen substance to its transitions from a solid or a stiff state back into liquid, soft, or a pliable one. So I know you guys obviously know what, yeah, thanks for reading the definitions. You guys know how much I love definitions. I'm just like, I can't just say words without the grounded, what are we actually talking about? So freezing, turning into a solid through lack of movement, thawing, turning back into liquid, soft through warmth. Interesting.
Absolutely.
So I have some notes here. Where did they go? I just brought up the definitions now. There we go. Is anything coming up for you? I mean, I have some notes and things we can talk about, but is there anything like alive in this moment for you that you want to start with, Juliette?
Mm, I just love to ground myself like this, to hear the definition, and I can only say that it is what I am the most passionate about, to bring people out of freeze,
Yeah.
um, because um, yeah, it's as if we were it's in a way natural to go into freeze, in a way that we sometimes need to wait, or we need
Yep.
to hold back, or we need in certain situations that are not safe for us to be or to express, or like in dangerous situations specifically. But often what I notice is that people don't know how to get out of freeze. And usually that comes out of conditioning, or being like we build this habit of freezing in places that don't necessarily need to be dangerous, and then the body doesn't remember how to not freeze or how to truly relax. So I mean, there's billions of things that come up for sure already, but I would love to follow your notes and not get too spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is also a passion of mine too. And I've been because I mentioned really shortly that that was my process. Like my primary response for so many years was freeze. And what I've learned through just practical trauma-informed approach is that the freeze is kind of the last one. This is like the collapse, the shutdown. It basically means that, at least through my understanding and what I've experienced and what I've read, is like because I was not able to leave, right, to flight, because I was not able to defend myself to fight, I froze.
Mm.
So it's kind of like if you are able to defend yourself, if you're able to leave, then you don't actually go down to freeze.
Mm.
Freeze is kind of the last resort. And like you said, I think all the responses have a positive, like practical approach too, of just like waiting, taking some time, not moving. So it's not necessarily that the freeze is, yeah, I wonder, like, what do you think the nuance is there is? Is waiting actually a freeze or is it just a regulated response? Is freeze only a shutdown collapse from an overwhelmed point of view, or do you think there is a parasympathetic? I mean,
Mm.
freeze is parasympathetic, right? It is the shutdown, the dorsal, the back of the system.
Yeah. I feel like there is definitely nuances, and I think it comes down to what is happening in reality in front of us.
Yeah.
And perhaps, like, going through an accident, and they may be the body will react in a way that stops whatever the blood from running too quickly, or like there is a lot of things that the body will do not for us to die. And freeze is one of the response. For example, it could be that when we are also in, let's say, spending many years in an environment that's oppressive, freezing will be a defense mechanism that we need to go through these years, especially, for example, as children. We don't necessarily know we have the choice, or we don't have a choice. So freezing will be the survival strategies that we will learn. Sometimes we learn it also from other people, so it's not just sometimes it comes as from the body, so that shows that it's part of our nature, but
Mm.
also from yeah, the culture, the tradition, the people around us. And there, we, let's say, we at some point leave these environments, but we don't know how to stop that. So that means that when we go back, when we live our lives separated from that period, for example, that could have been where freezing was the way to survive, we are still freezing when we are triggered in certain social interactions or relational spaces. And um, so in that sense, I don't know if I answered, but in that sense, I definitely see nuances. And and then I would say there is also a part of like, what if we could choose to freeze in because we don't want something? That could also be another nuance to it. So yeah, so I see it as like a survival, very clear survival practical reaction,
Yeah.
and also a more long-term survival reaction when things are not so acute and we need to go through to live in a place that's a lot, and there is no space for digesting or no space for relaxing. So often I would say freezing and relaxing are really connected. Uh,
Yes.
and yeah, and then the part of like we still freeze when we don't need to. So that's what comes up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, nuances is so important here. And I think part of being trauma informed and understanding these things is understanding that there is no one answer for any of these things.
Yeah.
Like you say, it really depends on the individual with the reality that they are in. And even though we have theories like the polyvagal theory and social engagement system and all of these things that kind of really bring clarity, it
Mhm.
still can never capture the exact moment of that exact individual experiencing that thing.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say like you were fully in that or you were fully in that because it could also be a mix of things,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah, we have a comment coming in the fawn
Yeah.
where that's more relational. It's
Yeah.
kind of it's a mix between a freeze and a relational where you change yourself for
Mhm.
defense, right? Or you change yourself for survival.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in one way, it is a type of a freeze because there's like a stop of your natural opinions, your engagement, where it's like, okay, who can I be in this moment to fit in? Or yeah,
Exactly. You become, um, on one hand, yeah, you disconnect from yourself in that moment, and freeze is that as well. You disconnect from the intensity of the situation, from pain, from fear, sometimes from rage. Like it could be that we freeze not just because of, yeah, we freeze from something intense. That would be the basic. And the fawning is it is something like a freeze plus an extra effort to stay present, even though everything in you wants to maybe not be here, for example. So it's, yeah, like you say, it freeze is kind of always there, actually, in these
Mm,
strategies. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So I'm curious, when we talk about, we can bring in numbness. Have
Mm.
you in your life experience, like when did you kind of realize, ooh, there's numbness in my body? And can I tell everyone a quote that you told me? Do you remember that quote?
Maybe you
The consequence one?
just go ahead, and I'm
Okay.
gonna. Yeah.
So I think we were just talking privately on WhatsApp or something, and you had this quote, and I was like, this is profound. I've actually been saying it to some of my clients.
Yeah.
You said, I'm dealing with the consequences of the decisions I've taken when I was numb.
Yeah. That's such a good quote.
It's such a good quote. I'm like, hey, Juliette, what are you up to? I'm just dealing with the consequences that I took when I was numb. I'm just
Mm.
cleaning up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, this was profound. I need to quote you on this because I think we can all relate, right? And for those who are live, let me know if you can relate, where it's like there's moments where the numb unfreezes, which we're going to talk about what happens, how does that happen and what happens and then you're realizing like, oh, I made that decision based off numbness. I did that and that and that based on numbness. And now that I'm more awake in my body, alive in my body, I have to deal with those. I have to deal with this now because now I might have a different perspective or different needs or different desires or realize that I did that thing based on, covering a void and not feeling, not knowing what I wanted, what I needed. So yeah, do you want to share a little bit about your numbness process? You can decide how deep you want to go into it because we have a lot of different topics we can cover. But
Yeah.
I'm just curious, how did you discover numbness in your body and what was your first kind of relating to it? And then how did you start to thaw your freeze?
Mm. Wow. Okay. So for sure, there has been so many instances of numbness in my life, and the first thing that come up is um, when I was very young, I had a lot of asthma. So I dealt with like this condition, and a lot of probably where I was very quickly short of breath, and with asthma, you instantly go into a bit of a survival situation because you cannot breathe fully, and you panic, and the way I think, like many of us growing up in this time and age, the way you deal with things like this, you take medicine, you take the inhaler, and I was told by every doctor, you take it before you go for a run, you take it even before the symptoms come. So I would say this is like a perfect training for numbness. And that's, I'm speaking of it in this way now, but back then I would just follow the advice, and to prevent the experience of asthma, I would take medicine that actually, on one hand, really free my lungs, but never allowed me to experience my breath fully. So there was never like a part of having asthma that could bring curiosity to it. It was instantly a fearful experience. That's what I learned.
Mm,
So I think this was for me one of the first clear experiences of how to numb myself. And I would say that if I yes, I'm not completely sure. I'm not like a doctor if asthma is medicine steroids, but yes, there is some medicine that for sure. Um, yeah, I'm really sorry I don't know that perfectly. I think it's because I'm
no.
on the other side, so I'm really like not going deep there. Um, but basically, it's created like a pattern in how I relate to my body. That
Yeah.
means that when I feel something, it's it's dangerous. First of all, it's not okay. It's not working correctly. So I need to do something extra to either not feel that sensation or that experience, um, or to get over it, to overcome it quickly. And I've done that for 20, I think for 26 years of my life. It's been my strategy. And it also spread in other aspects of my life, relationship. Um, oh, one second, my view changed for a second. There we go. Where anything that has to do with discomfort, my automatic response would be, in a way, numbing. So numbing, um, when numbing can happen in so many ways. We can numb by thinking a lot, by looking at reality from above, like, oh, this is wrong. This is a way to numb. This is me interpreting reality.
Reality.
You
Hmm.
see what I mean?
Instead of experiencing it, which is a big pillar of your work, right? Yep.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. So the we could say, and that's really exactly the biggest pillar of my work, is uh, l- studying how we disconnect from the body, and that is numbing.
Yep.
Numbing can also be we use extra physical efforts, contracting, to not feel. So you know when you some I hope it never happened to anybody, but you get hit or you hit yourself, whatever, and you there's a part that will instantly for survival contract, and often again, if you're too long in a situation where you're afraid to be hurt, you will keep contracting. The muscles will become calcified. They don't get oxygen. You numb, and then
Getting more solid.
you get more swelling. So sometimes people who say, I don't feel pain, I have a big, high pain tolerance, it's often that they are very, very tensed and they definitely cut off parts of the sensitivity.
Thank you.
And so one last thing would be that you could numb by being hyperactive or by using substances or like there is I mean you we all know different ways. Keeping busy, yeah, I see, keeping ourselves busy and either in the world or in our head or emotionally, or it's almost like the extra efforts we do numbs us. And the so that's like one thing. So I think for my own experience, the journey has been I got into this field of body work um, because at some point I had so much pain in my body that I couldn't numb anymore. I couldn't just be busy. Pain stopped me from being busy, from running
It's like a
the
full circle.
program.
It
Yes.
became so, yeah.
Exactly. And so through working through that pain, I also started to work through my relationship to my breath, because holding the breath is a way to numb, and discovering how much I never had breathed fully ever before. So that was also a big breakthrough for me. Um, and obviously, there is the emotional things you never wanted to feel fully that come up when you start working in the body like this. So it's just like there is so much to cover, but I think I answered your question.
You did it beautifully,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
Yes. And I can see a comment here that Stephanie is writing. Yeah, it's quite a revelation to realize that the extra effort, the burnout kind of is a consequence of the extra we do not to feel. And
Yep.
sometimes the pain or the discomfort is physical. Sometimes it's in the atmosphere. Sometimes it's in emotional pain. Sometimes it's something from the past. And yeah, it's interesting to look at how do we live our life today that actually has to do with, yeah, numbness, numbing, in fact.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's so good to talk about it. And it's something that sometimes for many years you don't always have awareness. It's like you can't feel what you can't feel, right?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of people, I think you mentioned it as well, where it's like, I have high pain tolerance. I'm good. I'm fine. Everything's, but then you kind of see the body, you see the breath, and you see some patterns where it's like, okay, there's high level of avoidance here. There's high level of protection here. And do you find that it's hard to work with people who aren't willing? Because I also feel when we thaw a freeze,
Mhm.
this is so important in my work, is resourcing because your system has to be ready to feel. And I truly believe that we're all avoiding feeling, whether
Mhm.
it's a good feeling or a bad feeling, or like a good feeling emotion or a bad feeling emotion, whether it's like failure or heartbreak or success and like sensuality. And there will always be like protection mechanisms to see if it's safe. And we're always, I really feel, avoiding a feeling. Like we're always just go, it all comes down to that for me in my work. And what I think is really important is like we can't just necessarily just unfreeze, thaw a freeze and be like, you're good now. Like it's a long process. You know, I talk about the freeze as well, where it's like you take something out of the freezer, it takes like hours, right? You take chicken out of the freezer in the morning for dinner at night. You like it takes a moment, unless you put it in the microwave and it like goes really quickly. But what when we work with the body, it's a slow process and it's a process that needs to be honored and also resourced. I feel people need to be able to hold, like there's a reason why you've been avoiding it
Yeah.
because it needs capacity, it needs space, it's scary, it's new, it needs reinforcement. So I wonder, like, there is an intelligence behind the numbness. There's a reason why you're not feeling these things. Do you agree that it's important with, resource? Do you think resource is actually the gateway towards thawing? Like, let's talk about the thawing process. What do you
Mhm.
see in your clients? What do you think about this? What have you experienced?
Mhm. Um, for sure. Yeah. Sure, yeah.
Yes.
Let's start there. Um, for these patterns of freezing to thaw, um, we need energy and attention. So yes, absolutely, we do need resources, time, and will. So it's not just one or the other, it's also the will to for if there is no will for for change, there cannot be a process in that sense. So that's for sure is the most important even. Sometimes I have clients who we need to work on their will first before we go into anything. So it's like
Ex exactly.
it's really the starting point. Then the resources, it's this part of this body work process, especially in the trauma-informed field, to make sure there is enough energy in the body and enough resources, yeah, like to go through these doors because they are like or to go through these knots or these challenges.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I 100% see that in my work. I see so many ways people like, for example, I worked just this morning with somebody who would meet a tension in their body, and their automatic response would be like, ah, let's get through it, like let's go. I hate it. I'm so annoyed. It pisses me off. And then, even though I'm all in to like get through and support that intention, um, I'm working a lot with my client to notice that this uh, that there is in that attitude a separation that's made between them
Yeah.
and their body, as if the pain is wrong and we need to get rid of it. And you can't if you're not able to just learn to be with it. And that's that's where the process is. This kind of work takes time because
Yeah.
you need yeah, like you really need um to pay attention that it's there instead of wanting it out or changed or like so I then it's more about how can I agree that it's there. And then the ways we take to unfreeze that area or that part in your life, we never know. I never know how long it can take, and I tell my clients instantly, like from the beginning, I have no clue. Uh, like I cannot tell you how many sessions. I cannot tell you how much time it will take, because it's based on your will to be behind this work and to be behind your process, and it's your responsibility, in fact, that will make it move. We as facilitators or teachers, we are here to guide, but at the end the body is the person, the individual is the one in charge of that process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, resources for sure. Capacity for sure, and that's a learning also.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have a concept in my work that I believe healing, transformation, and change is byproduct of the right environment. So that would be resourcing. And we were talking about how thawing is the process of warming up. So a solid could turn back into a liquid. So I think it's a really good approach when you're dealing with your thaw and noticing the numbness. And like you say, not making it something wrong, but just being like, how can I warm up this environment to get it to the right temperature where it melts? Instead of working on it needs to melt, it needs to go away, I need it to happen now, instead of being like, what temperature is needed for this? How warm, how cold is this? And how much warmth, and that warmth metaphorically is your attention, your presence, your allowance, your compassion, your validation, and
Yes.
your movement, like you said, the energy, like how are you able to move? Because freeze is also it's like solid, you turn into like a rock.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like how warm can you make your environment?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you recently had a client who you shared on Instagram that they came to you with a lot of pain. And instead of, like, I think a misconception in this world, like we were just talking about, especially in the healing and body work and trauma, is like, get rid of it. It shouldn't be there. I shouldn't have it. There's like a shame. There is many different feelings there. Also discomfort, obviously. So it could also be a form of numbness to just want it to go away as well.
Hmm.
And then you shared that through him just feeling the pain fully, the pain disappeared.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a huge teaching, and you're coming from complete, like, what do you call it? Like, yeah, an actual session. Like, this actually happened, and you saw it in real time. Yeah, you want to say more about that?
I can tell you, yeah. I'm always surprised myself every time, even though it's been like 8 years of this work. I'm like, this is insane. Like how this always happens. That when yeah, because when I look at this person had this issue in the legs. They couldn't he couldn't run, he couldn't do the things he loved anymore. He was really bothered every day by how tensed his legs were, and his way to go about it, to fix it, was to work out. Like that's what the another specialist said. You need to work out to you know so that the legs get stronger. And in fact, he was really doing extra, and with this intention of it needs to be fixed. It's wrong. It's not supposed to be.
Hmm.
And like what I love to teach and to practice myself is to when I'm when I experience something, because the only way I experience something is through my body. Like if there was no body, I don't think I would experience the world the same way. When I experience life and sensations and pain and all that, um, if like I need to, how do you say? It's hard to explain. I need to want it. It's if I don't want something, I will put extra effort and energy in blocking reality. But I am in reality. We are in the world. So there is the blocking can, as I said, we talked about before, is useful and practical because it prevents us from sometimes being crushed by illness or being crushed by situations that are too much. But the 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 key there is to also realize that it happened. It is happening and it happened. And if I don't open myself to this, I constantly fight what
Yep.
is.
Oh my gosh.
And
I'm
like,
feeling like tears, goosebumps.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's one of the biggest learning for me. It has been to accept, not to accept, to agree. So there's a difference. Sometimes I disagree, I don't accept, but I agree this is happening to me. And so pain in his leg was something he wouldn't agree to. And then he would spend money, time, energy, efforts every day, times years, compensating with a lot of efforts, thinking about it,
Yep.
doing exercise, blocking, ta da da da. And what I brought his attention to instead was, okay, but if you let go, if we practice stopping all these patterns that don't want to feel, let's find out what happens because the mind thinks it's the end of the world. And it thinks that because in his past, things happened so intensely that he decided, I mean, it's a decision in a way, at first maybe not, but then yes, this is how I will deal with painful experience from
Yep.
now on. So, so I took him through letting go, dropping, stopping the effort that were pushing away the leg. So in fact, I never truly worked on the leg. I worked on the belly. I worked on the shoulders. I worked with his breath. So all the areas that physical, emotional, and mental that blocked, that didn't want. And then he realized, okay, but for this to heal, I need to want. I need to want this so movement can happen because it, pain wants to move. If it doesn't move, or feelings want to move all the time.
Yep.
It's not made, we are not, it's not an experience that's made to become a stone. And so mainly what I taught him is, okay, stop these, we focused on one area this time, stop the tension in the belly. What happened is that he started to experience his belly without the tension and he started to feel a lot. And the
Yep.
pain became stronger because
Yep.
suddenly it can express itself.
Yep.
And suddenly, in these moments, what often happens, fear comes at the same time.
Yep. Of
Fear,
course. It gets triggered, right? Like the exact reason why he avoided is going to be, he's going to be faced with that now.
exactly. And so my job,
And then
that's
you're there.
where I come in. That's
This
why I'm
is
here
where you come
now.
in.
This is now I was
This
put
is
to
where
wait,
we come in.
but
Yes.
this is where
Yes.
we come in. And I teach him to breathe into the fear, to allow the
Exactly.
fear to flow in the body. It's not a mental thing, it's very physical. You know it.
Yeah.
You goosebumps, the sweating, the
Oh,
cold. I
yeah.
mean, it's real.
It's
And
real.
and so he started to breathe, and I brought him with my verbal guidance to back to his body,
Yep.
feel the belly, feel the flow in the legs, because it's not just me making it up. I also feel with him because
I'm
am
feeling with you just telling the story.
we all feel
Like,
it.
we're all feeling it.
Yeah. It's all comes down to how we were educated not like to be afraid of feeling. And
Exactly.
and so when I am as a practitioner relaxed into feeling, I give permission to my client to feel.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and and also I validate his feelings. It's like it's happening. We no way. And often people were taught that nah, it's nothing. No, it's just in your mind. I tell you, this builds so much tension, like so much hardness in people's heart, and breaks their trust in themselves. And yeah, I'm getting very like, it wakes so much in me. So
Yep.
I think the whole session then was really when he was able to let go of these efforts and breathe into the fear of the pain. The pain was felt and it was gone. And then he was like, okay. And this was a very it's someone I've worked with for maybe around 10 sessions or 8 or
Yeah.
10 sessions. So there is also a process before
That's
that.
good with context. Yeah. So there was resource, there was body awareness, there was
Yeah.
different things that you've been working on. And then you got to the
Yes.
point where it's like, and that's what I feel is so important. And I have this new program called Engage, and that's what it's about. It's like getting to the point to have enough resource and capacity to meet life head on without the story and the perception, but just be like head on. Let's feel this.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm getting goosebumps. And thank you so much for sharing that story. Was there something else coming?
No, just I completely relate to you and like yeah, it's just amazing to witness when an individual finally breaks out of the beliefs also
Yep.
about themselves and what they can't or can do. So yeah, I think that's what you were talking about in your program also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Amazing.
Hmm.
So there is, I feel like there was something about, yeah, maybe it'll come, but I want to talk about we talked about the unfreezing process, but another thing that I've experienced with unfreezing is that I'll also move through fight and flight again. So
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like revisiting an experience that I couldn't necessarily feel fully.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you say, the physical sensations are real. It's like, how, can you just sit down and feel? And I know it sounds so simple, and I know you guys know this, but are you actually doing it, right? Like, I remember some years ago, I got really triggered by something, and I made up a story that it was about my dad, and it was about this, and it was about being left, and or whatever it is. And then I was like, well, let me just sit down and actually feel. Because right now I'm creating a story about what I'm experiencing, but I'm not direct experiencing it. And I sat down and I felt, I think it took me 2 minutes. I just sat down on a pillow and was like, okay, body, what's going on? Like, tell me, I'm just front row seat here. I'm here. And it ended up being that I was actually more afraid of my success and I was actually really excited. But for me to feel excitement was quite a foreign feeling because that meant that things were working out, things were good. And that was an identity thing that wasn't so safe. It was easier for me to be a victim and for me to be sad and depressed and anxious. This was maybe 7 years ago that this happened. And the teaching here is when you feel things fully, things move quickly. But do you have capacity to feel things fully?
Mm-hmm.
Or are we still creating stories about our feelings? Are we still, like you said, it's like thinking about the experience instead of the direct experience of the experience? And it feels quite elementary to talk about it, but it's definitely advanced when you're in it. And I think that's the importance of having the support and the guidance because you need a pattern interrupt almost to be like, okay, it's coming up. This is what we were talking about. Like we spent 10 sessions talking about this and now it's happening.
Yeah.
Can you stay present with it? Don't make a story up. The stories can be there. It's all good, but just don't lose yourself in it. And can we just stay in the feeling? But it's uncomfortable. Stay in the feeling. But it hurts. Stay in the feeling. But what if? Stay in the feeling. I'm gonna throw up. Stay in the feeling. I feel nauseous. I feel this. I feel that. It's like stay, stay,
Yeah.
stay. And the more you feel things fully, it moves quite quickly. It's like you say, pain wants to move, emotions want to move, but are we creating the warmth and the pathways for it?
Absolutely. It's so beautifully said and like the staying is like I think one of the most it's like what I was telling you about the disconnecting is like we all have a PhD in disconnection. We were born in a PhD holder of disconnection. Like so staying um is like foreign still in so many in all of us I would say.
Yeah,
And and also there is a lot of misunderstanding about what's staying really means, because staying from the mind like, oh, but then if you're hurt, go away, or like move things away, and yes, sometimes yes, but you also need to have the power to grow and move through this or with that. you need to feel. Yeah, you can find the power through that experience, in fact. I think that's
Yeah.
where maybe the learning is, like you find the resource in that pain or in that difficulty or in that excitement, even if it's new, even if it's scary.
Yeah.
So staying is, yeah, like um,
It's advanced work.
it's advanced, very advanced.
Mm,
Absolutely. I would call staying being, you know? It's like
right.
this instead of acting or doing or thinking, which wants to go
Exactly.
around. Yeah, staying is feeling and being. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I made a post a couple days ago that was like, what if your what if what did I say? What if your transfer, I'm gonna paraphrase it because I'm not remembering the exact like hook that I had, but it was like, what if your next transformation actually is you staying? So a lot of the times we think of transformation as move, something changing, but it actually like and I'm all about ease and grace. Like I really think again that healing and transformation is a byproduct. It's nothing you have to work hard for necessarily, but you do have to keep yourself warm and be able to handle hard emotions, but you don't have to like effort into change and transformation. Like there's nuances, but the idea is that we're not like, you know, efforting and working really. We're just, if anything, yeah. Anyway, before I say like more words that, but the idea is that if it's a byproduct and staying first will move the energy to the point where clarity will create the next step for you. So it's like let the emotions move, let the pain move, let the whatever move. And then it's like, okay, now the transformation is more available. It's actually going to happen. It's like inevitable, but
yeah,
it's a byproduct. Of staying, which is like a
absolutely.
paradox.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like adding to this, because I also see a question that's very relevant and connected.
Yeah,
It says, is it then really about holding still and feeling, or is it helpful to move the body while feeling the feeling? And I would say like it's feeling doesn't have a doesn't require us to stay and meditate only, for example. It can require I think feeling means being present to
yeah,
what is. So it doesn't need to be hold still and wait for things to come. You can be decide you can decide to go on a trip and still feel actually. Or you can move and yeah move your body, or you can lay down, or you can, so it's nice. It definitely, I would say it has to do with not holding still.
hmm,
Not holding yourself tight, for sure.
yeah,
uh, because the tightness numbs you more than anything, and then if you in the moment of just sitting and feeling, you can, maybe the body wants to move, maybe, so like clarity will come from your willingness to stay present. And then what you will do with that, it's also partly allowing yourself to relax it into not knowing what shape this step is looking like.
exactly.
So yeah, just a really great question and to add to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm.
So to kind of round this up a little bit, I mentioned that my numbness, my freeze, when I started thawing it, which is actually happening right now in my life. So there's this, I woke up a couple months ago and I was like, I am now the woman that I've always wanted to be because I've always imagined not being a woman in freeze. It's been on the list, the vision board.
Love that vision.
Yeah, exactly. Love that for all of us.
Yes.
And I could really sense like, okay, it's not my primary go-to anymore. The shutdown, the collapse, the freeze is not my primary thing. But I am noticing that I'm going into fight more. Uh, and which is very good for me, I feel. Where it's like now I feel that I can voice my opinions. I have more boundaries. I'm getting angry. I'm getting, and there's obviously a balance here. But it's so liberating, actually, to take this back because at some point in my life, like you shared in the beginning, I was taught that being angry and my boundaries and my opinions, like they weren't And I think it was there's specific moments, but I think it was also just like an overlaying a lot of small moments that created the numbness in me. But now that I am thawing, I'm seeing a lot of the suppressed things that I've been thawing. And it's coming out, like I said, with this fight response. And I notice I'm a little bit more like, more sassy. I'm more like, a little bit like with my claws out. And obviously, I think through resource and capacity in my body, I'm not projecting too much. Like, I'm not just throwing up on people with my fights, but I'm noticing like, ooh, no, this, la. Like I'm just a little bit more activated. There's more warmth, like there's more passion, there's more fire in my body. And it feels so good for being somebody who has been cold and shut off and numb in my
Mm,
body. So I also just wanted to bring that awareness of when you thaw, a lot of old things can come up and it's super uncomfortable. We talked about that, right? Like feeling the discomfort. But then you're also going to feel this warmth in your body that is like you're going to be more connected to your opinions. You're going to be more alive. And that means standing up for yourself, your boundaries, what you works for you, what doesn't work for you. And you're going to have more contact with that because before I would just bypass that and go straight into shutdown, right? Freeze was like, whoop, like let's just go to the basement and let's just go to the freezer, not deal with this, not speak up, not stand up for myself, not leave. I'm just going to stay here. Like I'm
mm,
just stuck here.
mhm,
So I just want to bring awareness to that, there's such a beautiful life beyond the freeze being a primary place that you go to. And I think it's obviously, like you mentioned, it's nuanced. I think every level we will unlock new layers of freeze and numbness. There's definitely a lot more numbness as I deepen my freedom, my expression, my curiosity to life. I'm going to meet new levels, but I do feel that there's been a foundational numbness and freeze that has thawed, and
mhm,
it's led to a lot of warmth, passion, clarity, and engagement in my life. Being more regulated, being more like meeting things straight on, eye contact, soft belly, not avoiding. And it's like you say that there's so much passion to help people through this because first of all it's so relatable because we've been there and most people like you said freeze is everywhere. Freeze is always in the room. There's always a sense of, is it safe? Is it yeah, hesitation, doubt. It's like it's part of this. There we are, solid as well.
mm,
So it's kind of like it's just a part of us, but we are liquid too. We are fire, we are air. And when we give that more space and we feel confident enough to hold it as well, because I wasn't confident when I had my numbness. I couldn't stand up for myself and actually hold that. I would just go back into numbness. So there's a journey here for all of us to become more resourced, to become more confident, to get the courage, and then one day, every day, it's getting warmer and warmer, and then you're gonna realize I'm warm now. I'm
yeah,
so much warmer than I used to be. I'm so much more in contact. Things are moving. Yeah.
yeah. Mm, yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
So, is there any kind of last things you want to share, you want to say? I mean, obviously, the things we talk about can deepen extremely, and this is the work that we're doing. So, if you're listening to this and being like, I would like some one-on-one support with this, you can reach out to Juliette. I know she does online and also in-person sessions. You guys know my world by now, and I do online and in person as well.
Mhm.
So, just get the support because there is that, I love that part of the what we were talking about where you're like, this is where you came in. Because it's just, yeah, so important to have somebody with you in this process as well to mirror that warmth, acceptance. And I think you are incredible at that. I've seen you in your work. You are so on point with your guidance, with your wording. You keep your clients on point. I remember watching you. I'm like, oh, she's on it. Like she is keeping them.
Mm-hmm.
completely, with the process because we want to avoid, we want to check out. And then the facilitator is there to keep bringing you back. And
Mm-hmm.
at some point, you do that yourself after so much practice. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation and bringing in your wisdom, your words, your experience.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would just want to add one little thing, and that would be perhaps a takeaway for many, apart from everything we talked about. If you notice yourself going into freeze, I really invite you to notice how what you're doing with your breath, and to give yourself the gift of breathing fully in the
Mm,
freeze, and follow your full, just be aware, be present to what comes with that, because our breath are is the, the air lit up the fire, you see, like it's just they work together. So if we don't breathe, there is no warmth. And so that would be my kind of last or right now little extra thing to add, that's very practical for everybody listening or watching, is
yeah.
that y- you already have it in you, everything you need to get out of the freeze, but it will require attention and support, perhaps.
Hmm.
As you said, we are here if you need
Yeah.
extra support. And I just really, really want to thank you for inviting me, and yeah, and all of you for being present and listening later. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you for those who joined live and for those watching the replay. I hope this served you deeply. It's hard to cover every single thing about a topic and to go so deep into it, but our intention was to bring awareness, some personal stories, some evidence, connection. So if you are listening to this podcast on Spotify, feel free to leave a rating and let me know, send me a message what landed for you. You'll find Juliette's information in the show notes. So give her a follow, send her a message, let her know, what stood out for you. This podcast is also about community and, yeah, connecting over topics that really matter. So I'm excited for this like new iteration of bringing in guests, and I will announce the next guest for next episode, next month. That was a lot of nexts. But yeah, thank you again, Juliette, so much for taking the time for this. And yeah, that I got to share you with my community as well.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everyone, I'll see you next month. Bye.